Maria De Leon.
And we are the co-founders of Parabukas.
Yes, and we're here to talk to you about the Conference of Parties, or the COP, to the UN Climate Change Convention.
Yes.
Which we have been to many, many times.
Yes.
How did you get into this line of work, Niner?
Well, my boss made me do it.
Yeah, that's one way.
And it's like, so I started out working on a project in particular that looked into the Paris Agreement. So what is now known as the Paris Agreement. At the time, they were just trying to put together what it was going to look like, trying to decide what it was going to be and what the next steps were. So yeah, so I've been attending the COPs mostly for that until it snowballed.
Years. Ako naman, my first COP was 2011. And I got started sort of the same, like my previous boss assigned me to attend the COPs. But my sort of entry point was a little bit different. We were then working on negotiating on an agreement on forests and the contribution of forests to mitigating and adapting to climate change. So that was my entry point. And yes, I have also been going to all the COPs ever since. So it will be my 9th COP this year. It's a lot.
Okay, so the question is, how does the Philippines come up with its country position?
Okay, so there's a few different sort of channels. There's not really one method by which that happens. But basically, the various government agencies that have mandates related to the negotiating agenda items will usually have their own processes, their own consultations, their own systems for formulating the position. So, kunyari, the Department of Agriculture will have its own processes, the DENR, and DOE, Department of Energy. So, their specific interests that they want to be brought about in the negotiations, they will, they'll consolidate it, usually in consultation with civil society or NGOs, and then it will be turned over to the Climate Change Commission, generally speaking. And the CCC will lead the delegation who will represent those positions at the COP. Something like that.
Yes.
And once the delegation is there, how do we negotiate once we're there and have our positions?
Well, there are different settings. So first, there's the plenary where everybody's seated. So yung mga na-imagine natin na UN meetings, usually na lahat ng countries na doon, medyo parang ganun siya. And then they go into contact groups, smaller contact groups depending on the agenda item that is going to be discussed, right? So these contact groups can also divide itself into like smaller negotiating groups if there's like an agenda item or a particular paragraph that they can't agree on. And usually this goes on for 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 long weeks.
Lots of late nights. And that's where the countries try to come to common positions, basically.
Yes.
They need to come to a consensus so that decisions can be arrived at. So it's a lot of countries, a lot of agenda items, a lot of positions, so you can imagine how complicated it can get. On that point, have you seen people or negotiators arguing or, like getting a little riled up pagdating sa negotiations?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's sort of inevitable.
I think it's inevitable because you're carrying your country position, you feel very strongly about it, and there are other countries that have other concerns that might that might be actually the opposite of what your country position is, right? So you tend to argue, you tend to get emotional or get mad after a while, especially when you're sleep deprived and you're hungry, as a lot of negotiators become angry. So yeah, actually there was this one time where there were 2 negotiators who were on the same side who almost came to blows while we were while we were coordinating outside. So yeah,
yes, it happens. And a lot of the divisions in the positions will be between developing and developed countries, because usually yun yung I guess, positions or interests that can be opposed, not all the time, but parang historically the lines have been divided between the richer, more developed countries and developing countries like the Philippines. So we are one of those developing countries that have our own interests to protect. But the Philippines actually has been very active in the international negotiations. We've been witness to a lot of 8 years, 9 years being in the process. We've really seen the Philippines take the lead in very key issues such as finance, climate finance, what other issues?
Adaptation and loss and damage,
biodiversity, agriculture, forests, and then in the Paris Agreement, we were also very active in getting important keystone provisions such as the 1.5 degree Celsius limit as a global target. Human rights also, we pushed for that. So those are some of the aspects that the Philippines has won or played a major role in.
So, what was your experience of the Paris Agreement?
It was a very exciting time because it was like this culmination of many years of work that many countries invested a lot in. Parang if the Paris Agreement, the success or failure of the Paris Agreement was supposed to spell, ano yung future of the multilateral negotiating process. So there was a lot of expectations, a lot of investment going into it. So I really felt that, parang not just in the lead up, but while we were there in Paris negotiating, it was really like, what's gonna happen? Yes. What about you?
It was a culmination of a lot of my projects,
especially Niners.
So it was very emotional actually, and it was very to the extent that I was considering getting a tattoo about the Paris Agreement, but
that's how much impact it had.
Yeah, thankfully natauhan ako. But it was actually it was so very fast paced, right? Like especially the last few days of that COP, when they were really just giving us the drafts and going, take it or leave it. We can't extend this meeting any longer. So you go through it quickly and you see what's acceptable to you, and if something's not acceptable, is it still okay? Do you think you can get around it? So I remember the last few hours being really like, go, read it.
And parang we were all on the edges of our seats. Parang, is it gonna happen? It's like the last 2 hours. Is it gonna go through, or are there gonna be last minute objections? So when it finally got accepted and the gavel came down saying, yes, it's final, we have agreed. Even if we weren't totally satisfied, no one was totally satisfied because it was, almost 200 countries trying to agree on this very important agreement. It was still a relief na parang, yes, we did it, and it was a success.
And it could have been worse.
It could have been much worse. There are some good provisions in there, but I guess now coming into COP25, this year, it's really now about how will this agreement become real? How will it be implemented? Because the agreement is coming into, it's gonna become effective by 2020. So first, the agreement was done in 2015, and now we need to make it a reality.
So we're going to Madrid.
We're going to Madrid. Have you ever been?
No, I have.
I have not been.
I do not think I have.
That's how many countries Niner has been to. She doesn't
Sometimes
remember.
it's all a blur when you're working. So follow us. We're going to Madrid for the 25th Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change.
Yeah, so we're going to be posting stories and various tidbits on what we're up to there. We're going to be following the negotiations as well as many parallel activities that happen alongside the negotiations. It's going to be quite exciting. Niner and I are representing civil society, following a lot of issues important to the Philippines, especially related to forests, agriculture, biodiversity, and rights. So if those are areas that you are interested in, then we'll be covering those and we'll be sharing about those experiences as we go along. So please stay tuned.